Hey cats, what's happening? You hear me complain about this a lot, but woke up this morning and there was like a half-inch of snow on the ground, covering everything. Yeah, we're in like already through the first week of May. All the trees are in blossom. The daffodils have already bloomed. The flowers are up. We actually mowed grass a couple times. My wife mowed the lawn this week. The day after she mowed, though, it snowed. It snowed all day yesterday, and it snowed practically all night last night, and it's been snowing this morning. So, we're not riding, obviously, until it warms up. Looks like maybe next week it's supposed to warm up pretty nice again, and hopefully stay warm enough where we can get out and do some riding. Now, my topic today is, does the mileage on your scooter really matter? And before I go any further on this, I am going to say this is not aimed at anyone personally in any way, shape, or form. I just get asked this question all the time. Hey, Itchy, how many miles do you have on your bike? And it's like, why does that matter to anybody? Frankly, I don't know the exact miles I have on my bike because back when I wrecked my bike, it got all smashed up and they replaced the fuel tank and the speedo, the odometer, everything, so it was back to zero at that point. And prior to that, I had ridden back and forth across the country, I don't know, a couple times, so I don't even remember what the mileage was at that point. So given the mileage I have on there right now, I don't know what the total miles are on this bike, and I really don't care. As long as it runs and it causes me no issues, I'm happy. And I just don't understand why that's important to some people. How many miles do you have on your bike? Now here's the real clincher. This bike only has 500 miles on it. I don't really ride. All my videos that you've seen me riding are staged. The bike's just sitting still and I just have a video screen of, it looks like highway going past. So I really don't even ride. It's just a big joke. I'm kidding. I actually do ride, but you get my point. Sometimes I think some people think that. Sometimes I think people really think that. Like, you really don't ride. You're really not a biker. Okay, well, like I said, I'm not out to prove a thing. I have a good old friend of mine that does a lot of riding. A lot of riding. It's real big with him. He's a single man, so he can afford to do that. But if you'd ask him how many miles does he have on his bike, it would probably be very low mileage. And I'll tell you why. I know recently in the past couple years, he rented an Ultra Classic, a Harley Ultra. And he rode from Seattle all the way through Canada and into Nova Scotia. And he put a lot of miles on that bike, but that wasn't recorded as, mileage on the bike he owns. And last year, he took a epic trip out to Europe. He rented a BMW and he rode, I think he spent like a month out there, if not more. And he rode everywhere. He rode through the Alps. He went all through Switzerland and Germany and France and just all over the place. And had an epic adventure and put a lot of miles on that rental bike too. So if you asked him, how many miles do you got on your bike? He'd probably say, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand miles. And what would you judge him for that? Like, he ain't much of a biker. He's only got a couple thousand miles on his bike. And this isn't my first motorcycle either. So, that being said, why does it matter to people? How many miles do you have on your bike? There are people that's important to. I know I read an article a while ago about these guys that rode across the country on their BMW. And they actually used catheters. Yeah, so they wouldn't have to stop and pee. They wore a catheter bag on their leg, and they were able to ride all day and get buku miles on their BMWs. And I don't even remember where they were riding to, but it was just kind of an insane thing to do by my standards. I wouldn't think of putting myself through that. I've ridden some long days, and I know it's pretty grueling and pretty hard. And you know, I don't take any awards for that, and I don't I don't really want any. It was just something that I did for my own, and I wouldn't call it pleasure, because when you go 865 miles in one day from Denver, Colorado to St. Louis, Missouri, it hurts. It hurts a lot. My back was killing me by the time I got off the bike there. But yeah, I don't take any awards for that. And then, like I had spoke earlier, Harley Davidson offered in their membership, they had some contests, and they were, you know, high mileage contests where you would win different awards for depending on, and I think they actually had one of them was like a 1,000,000-mile award. So if you rode 1,000,000 miles, you would get this award. Now, you'd have to be pretty committed to put that kind of miles on. And even to that, so you get 1,000,000 miles on your bike. I guess it's more of a personal gain thing, because to me, I'm not really like, oh, he did 1,000,000 miles, wow, he's fabulous, he's fantastic, man, he's at the top. No. Dude, I could care less how many miles you rode. Now, does it make you a biker if you have more miles than me? Does it make you more of a biker? Does it make you more hardcore because you got more miles? Obviously, a guy that has a brand new bike isn't going to have a lot of miles on his bike. There's a lot of people that have just started learning how to ride. But then there's people that, say this guy that has ridden to work every day. He rides to work and back every day, and he only goes 10 miles to work and 10 miles back, so he does like 20 miles a day. He's not banging up hundreds and hundreds of miles on his bike, but does that make him less of a biker? I think he's more of a biker than me, because he's out there in all kinds of weather every day, every week, and that's his transportation. I used to do that way back. When I was younger, I did a lot more riding, but I had a lot more stamina. I was younger and more energy, and I could deal with all the weather, and I rode a lot. I used to ride to work every day, and I took some epic trips across the country and back numerous times. I don't know how many times I'd been out to Sturgis for the rally out there. I've been to Laconia rally. I'd been to little like the Chillicothe rodeos and things like that. So I used to do a lot of riding, not anymore though. Given situations that I'm in right now with my wife and I, it's not really a good time, or it's just not good for us to take off on the bike, and we really don't even want to at this point because of the situations we're in. And we're, aside from that, taking care of my elderly mom, who, in fact, we stopped over there last night. It was date night, and we took her, we brought chicken dinners over there that we picked up carry out, and we ate with her some chicken dinners, and she was pleased just to have us, so spend some time with her. So that's important to us, to kind of take care of her now too, and for us to just take off somewhere, it wouldn't probably be in the best interest of anybody around here right now. So yeah, the riding has gone way down. So more recently, you'll see, if you were to keep track and keep record of how much I rode, you would see that maybe 20 years ago, I had miles and miles and miles. And if you checked my mileage today that I've done already this summer. You'll be lucky to see a couple hundred miles on there. You know, give or take. I don't know. Because like I said, I don't keep track of my mileage. The only reason I use my odometer on this machine is for my fuel gauge, because I don't have a fuel gauge. And when I get up to about 150 miles on my odometer, I have it set on the trip meter stage there. When I get to about 150, I stop, I fuel up, top off the tanks, and then I reset it back to 0 again. And that's all I ever look at. I don't even look at the odometer on this thing. Like I said, if it runs and I can fire it up and I can go for a ride, then I'm happy. So that's my rant today about mileage. Does it make you more of a biker than me because you got, 565,000 miles on your Harley? Or maybe you only got 10,000 miles on your bike. Doesn't matter. Are you still a biker? Yeah. All right, guys, that's all I got today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Give my channel a like and tell your buddies about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And ride hard, die free. I'll catch you later.